am looking into what is going to be a cost-effective, but effective way to do that, to do it. All right, we are live on YouTube. And it is my pleasure to welcome you all to Shabbat Services with Congregation Shalom. Welcome to all in the room. Welcome to all on Zoom. Welcome to anybody watching us on YouTube. I'm going to mute everybody first of all. Secondly, I am going to, oops, I seem to want to close. There we go. I'm going to drop into the chat the Shabbat Bulletin. All right, this one should say AKEV on it. Yep, I gave you the right one. So feel free to download that or just open it on your computer. We are going to begin our service this evening with Hine Matov, and you'll find the words to the Alana Arian version on the back of the bulletin. Mike and Barb are not here tonight. They had company from out of town, from out of the country, actually. So we've got a guitar night tonight. Sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Continue with the lighting of Shabbat candles. Who would like to light the candles tonight? Wonderful. On page 2 and 3, begin with the reading on page 3. You can choose whichever one you'd like. And then we continue with the blessing on page 2.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled lights, so may we in our day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu, v'hadlikne shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you, Rod. We're still working on getting the tech piece figured out. We'll get it before the holidays, I promise. We're going to continue on page 8. Page 8. And I invite you to join with me. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. We continue with Lechado D, beginning on page 20. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach the verse 9, we rise and face the door in the rear to welcome the Sabbath bride. Sorry, I can't read my own writing. I'm gonna raise this up. We'll start again. I'm so sorry. I'm not used to this now. I've grown accustomed to having Mike here. All right, we'll start again. We ודיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתחילה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה, לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך ומאורי, אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך ניגע, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני ועם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת לקבלה. You're seated. We continue. And we continue on page 27. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there is no place on earth without the presence. On page 26. Yitkadavi kadash meraba, be'alma divrach irute v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon uvyom echon, u'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala, uvizman kariv, v'meru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach, le'alam li'amei amaya, yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yitale, v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha brichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, Ta'amiran bi'ama v'meru. Amen. We continue with our call to worship, the Baruch Hu, and if you're comfortably able, I invite you to please rise. We remain standing and return to page 30 and join together in the Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach sha'arim, uvitvuna mishaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Ma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uven layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings hot evening. We continue on page 33 and read responsively in the middle of the page. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. Then this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohei Amo Yisrael. You may not have heard the news this week that we lost one of the legends of our generation, Zvika Peck, who wrote this Shema. And the Shehachianu that we often sing. So we sing it tonight in his memory. Please be seated. We continue with the Ahafta on page 36. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Page 38. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. You alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign and savior who delivers us from oppressors' hands and saves us from tyrants' fists. You work wonders without numbers, marvels beyond count. You give us life and steady our footsteps. You perform miracles for us before Pharaoh, signs and wonders in the land of the Egyptians. You led our people Israel out from their midst to freedom for all time. When your people witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously. Continue on page 40 with Mi Chamocha. Kifad Adonai et Yaakov, ugialo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. We continue at the bottom of page, the middle of page 42, and we join together. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. V'shamru is on page 44. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Ve'ni uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Ubayom hashvi'i, ubayom hashvi'i, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. On page 45, a thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat arrives in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night. Eternity utters a day. We turn to page 46, and if you're able, I invite you to rise for the tefillah. Adonai, Sefatai Tivta, Upiani Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor, v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geulah livnei v'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Be'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atarav lehoshia, Morid hatal, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהלוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. We are seated, and we continue together at the top of page 59 in just a moment. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'el lehodot. On page 61, grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamavarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We continue in silent reflection and prayer using the words on the following couple of pages or the words that flow from our hearts, after which we will continue with Oseh Shalom on page 62. Oseh Shalom b'mrama, uyaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imut shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, Yahol Yoshei Teirel. Do you have any birthdays or anniversaries this week? I know it's Barbara Silverstein's, but she's not with us this week. So we wish her a happy birthday from afar. Our thoughts turn to let's turn to page 253. Page 253. Our thoughts turn to those who are in need of healing of mind, body, and spirit, those in our community and those close to our community. Marcy Berman, Marty Boyle, Eileen Callahan, Carol Castro, Isaac Cohen, Sarah Cohen, Bruce Dalby, Carolyn Dowland, Stuart Dowland, Don Elmore, Steve Feynman, Bernice Fischel, Justin Folk, Matt Kiefer, Jenna Lesser, Al Lopez, Wendy Meyer, Mike McNearney, Tom Moore, Marge Muldoon, Charles Patrick, Charlotte Renfro, John Robertson, Diana Samuels, Bruce Schlossberg, Barbara Schmidt, Shimshon ben Avraham V'Sarah, April Super, Peter Storch, Cliff Van Cora, Emilio Vasquez, Susan Weber, Marcia Gorin-Wesser, Kay Williams. Are there others who are praying for healing this Shabbat?
Manuel Tijerina.
Thank you. Marga. Thank you. Thank you. For those who've been named and for those we name in our hearts, we say, Mishaberach Avotenu v'Imotenu, Abraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah, Hu Yivarech et HaCholim Shalanu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Aleihem, Lahachalimam, Ularapotam, Ulahachazikam. V'Yishlach Lahem Mehira Refuah, Refuah Shlema Min HaShamayim, Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf, Hashta B'Agala V'Zman Kariv, V'Nomar, Amen. And we continue with the Misha Bera that we sing. So this Shabbat is one of those odd occurrences when the traditional calendar and the Reform calendar diverge, because next week, Rosh Chodesh falls at an odd time. The new month being Elul, which is when we begin our preparation for the High Holy Days, starts officially Saturday night and Sunday for us, because we observe one day of Rosh Chodesh. But traditional Jews, conservative and Orthodox, observe 2 days of Rosh Chodesh. So they observe Saturday and Sunday. They overlap the last day of the month and the first day of the month to make sure that they don't possibly transgress and get the day wrong. Right? Because of course, we don't have modern ways of calculating the correct date of Rosh Chodesh now. So they still observe 2 days in the diaspora. But we observe one day. So where our traditional, brothers and sisters are benching Rosh Chodesh, blessing the new month, this Shabbat, we're going to wait and do it next Shabbat, because for us, Rosh Chodesh doesn't start until Sunday, Saturday night, Sunday. So we still have another week before we bless the new month. I saw somebody say, we're going to Mavarchim, bless the new month tonight. And I was like, wait a minute, no, that's next week. It was like, oh yeah. Okay. Are any of you gardeners? Yeah. I've told you about my father's double plot in the Framingham Community Gardens, nestled right in between the state prison and the GM plant in Framingham, Massachusetts. My dad had a green thumb, and we enjoyed the fruit of his efforts all year long because my mom would can tomatoes and make strawberry jam. And I would make and freeze zucchini cakes that would keep us happy for months. Sadly, I did not inherit my dad's green thumb. But in 2020, when we were all in lockdown, I planted some herbs on the patio and my gardening adventure started. This year, Maury helped me put in 2 raised beds. The stuff I planted grew like crazy, but nothing produced, except 1 tomato plant, some kale and arugula, and a whole lot of basil. Even our plum and fig tree fell victim to the critters and the drought. Trying to grow vegetables and failing so miserably gives me an even greater appreciation for the miracle that is nature. Not to mention tremendous admiration for those who know what they're doing when it comes to growing vegetables. I will admit, I'm guilty of often taking for granted not only the food that graces our table, but other things as well. I think we all are. I try to be cognizant of this and avoid this pitfall, but it's a pretty natural instinct. I'm not really sure why that is. After all, I love to cook and I have a great appreciation for good ingredients and flavor profiles. But every so often, I need a reminder to stop and appreciate the goodness that sustains us. Moses understood this. And in this week's Torah portion, Akev, we're told to do just that, with words that have served as the basis for our grace after meals, Birkat HaMazon. Moses reminds the children of Israel to follow all of God's commandments, for God is bringing them, quote, into a good land, a land with streams and springs and fountains issuing from plain and hill, a land of wheat and barley, of vines, figs, and pomegranates, a land of olive trees and honey, a land where you may eat food without stint, where you will lack nothing. a land whose rocks are iron and from whose hills you can mine copper, end quote. Then he says, Ve'achalta v'savata uberachta et Adonai Elohecha al ha'aretz hatova asher natan lach. And when you have eaten and you are satisfied, you shall bless Adonai your God for the good land you have been given. Surprisingly, we're not told to say a blessing before we eat. That comes much later in the Talmud. In fact, it's much easier to remember to say a blessing when we're hungry and the food is right in front of us. When we stop and say hamotzi, or if it's your practice to say a more specific blessing and then enjoy your food, it's after we're satisfied that it's easy to be complacent. No, Moses tells us. We have the God-given ability to consciously consider what we put in our bodies, to know where it comes from, and we have the ability to feel and express appreciation for it. Therefore, we are obligated to do so. This verse and others in the Torah reading this week also speak to the midah, the character trait and human value of humility. We recognize that food does not just appear from nowhere. And trust me, with my gardening efforts, humility really comes into play. We recognize that food does not just appear from nowhere. Not only do we have the good fortune to have food to eat, we are also interconnected with other beings and forces which have contributed to our good fortune. We recognize that not everyone has this good fortune. And perhaps this verse, therefore, is reminding us as well of our obligation to help others in need. Just a few verses later, this message is emphasized when we read, when you have eaten your fill and built fine houses to live in, and your herds and flocks have multiplied, and your silver and gold have increased, and everything you own has prospered, beware lest your heart grow haughty and you forget Adonai your God, and you say to yourselves, my own power and the might of my own hand have won this wealth for me. Torah teaches us an important lesson here. It assumes material wealth and doesn't shy away from it. Nor does it suggest that we should. It merely says we need to recognize that blessing doesn't come from our hands alone. We rarely pause on a daily basis to reflect on the fact that, for the most part, everything's okay and we have what we want and need. We tend to grow complacent, or even to believe that our good fortune is the result of our efforts alone. It's only when things go wrong that we stop and consider how grateful we are when things go right. I'd like to suggest that we turn it around, that we pay attention and notice how amazing it is and how much more surprising when it all works, when our lives run smoothly. The great Jewish philosopher Abraham Joshua Heschel spoke of a concept he called radical amazement. He said, quote, get up in the morning and look at the world in a way that takes nothing for granted. Everything is phenomenal. Everything is incredible. Never treat life casually. To be spiritual is to be amazed, end quote. This Shabbat, I pray we all take some time to pay attention and really notice the world around us with all its warts and beauty, all that we have and what we lack, the people in our lives and the relationships that make our lives worthwhile, and take nothing for granted. Ken Hiratso, may this be God's will. Shabbat Shalom. Kim, will you do us the honors?
Hi there.
Oh, hello, hello.
Hi. You got it for the evening.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay.
So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So some upcoming events that we have right now is registration is now open for Kesher Shalom, which is our education program for kids from kindergarten to 7th grade. For more information, or if you'd like to register, visit our website, shalomsa.org/kesher-shalom. Additionally, we have a Congregation Shalom member meeting coming up on August 28th. It's a Sunday at 1 p.m. It'll be over Zoom. So save the date and please join us. You'll be getting a Zoom link, minutes of the last meeting, and the financial report during the week leading up to the meeting. And if you haven't heard already, High Holy Days is coming up very quickly, and we still need sponsorships. So please feel free to donate in order for us to provide a beautiful and meaningful worship experience. Please register in advance to attend in person or over Zoom, and also send in your Book of Remembrance memorials. You can sign up to participate in services. So please check your email or go visit our website, shalomsa.org/high-holy-days. And in the community, the Hadassah Back to Camp fundraiser will take place Sunday, August 28th from 5 to 8. All are welcome. The website is events.hadassah.org/back-to-camp. And PJ Library is having a back to school splash party Wednesday, August 31st for all those children or grandchildren who are celebrating the last days of summer. That'll be on August 31st, which is a Wednesday at 4:40 to 6:30 p.m. That's sponsored by the Jewish Federation of San Antonio. And lastly, if you're interested in becoming a member, visit Rabbi Lisa, one of our officers, or someone on our membership committee team, and we'll be able to help you out with that. If for a membership application, please email Rabbi Lisa at lisa@shalomsa.org, or again, visit our website at shalomsa.org/membership. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
All right. Anything to add, David?
So nothing much. Underscore the need for donations to come in. If we don't get, we're about halfway funded on the music, which means Manahara winds up playing every other note. Also, Lisa just mentioned on the gardening thing. I can relate. A while back, I bought several types of silk flowers. They died after 2 weeks. Okay.
Our you will never find a live plant in our house because we've stopped buying them because I just kill them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So.
Okay, back to you.
All right. I cannot underscore enough the need to please register for High Holy Days, however you're going to participate, as soon as possible, including participating in the service so that we can plan ahead and not wait till the last minute to plan. Book of Remembrance. If you've told me either by email or verbally or in a note, please don't consider that done. Please fill out the form, go on the website or in the email that you get weekly, click the link, fill out the form. Because we have to have a paper trail so that we don't make mistakes. We have to have the form to make sure that we get it right. We don't want anybody upset because we missed a name or we missed, a listing. We really want to make sure we get it right. Help us by filling out the form. Okay, we're going to continue with Aleinu on page 282, page 282. At the top, please rise. will continue on page 287. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shehu noteh shamayim v'yosei haaretz, u'moshav yikara b'shamayim mima'al, u'shchinatu zo b'govhei meromim, hu Eloheinu ein od. Va'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu ve'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, Ushemo echad. We turn to page 295. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at the season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. We remember this week for Shiva, Svika Pick. For Shloshim, we remember Teresa Tableta, friend of Wendy and Stan Drezik.
Leave it unmuted.
We remember for Yahrzeit, Richard Lester Hudson, brother of Rod Hudson, Ben Singer, father of Barbara Stern, Jim Martin, friend of Barb and Mike Stern, whose anniversary of death are remembered this week. We remember 10 people who perished in the Holocaust: Johanna Hedwig Braun, Bertha DeBrave, Veronica Brill, Samuel Brency, Maurice Abranowski, Anna Abramowitz, Benjamin Datnowski, Vladimir Goldenberg, Mayor Berg, and Esther Kagan. Are there others who are remembering somebody for Kaddish or for Yahrzeit?
Kutin Gayama.
Thank you. Anybody else? Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for blessing. As we turn to the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon, ub'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam olamei almaya. Yit barach v'yish tabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh v'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit halal shemei kudsha brichu le'ela minko birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata da'am iran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. We're going to conclude our service this evening with Ein Keloheinu, an oldie but a goodie, on page 322. Page 322. Ein Eloheinu, ein Adonenu, ein Kimoheinu, ein Kimoshienu, mi Eloheinu, mi Adonenu, mi Kimoheinu, mi Kimoshienu. No del Eloheinu, no del Adonenu, no del Malkeinu, no del Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Who would like to lead us in Kiddush this evening? Somebody at home, somebody here? Anybody? Any takers? I'm gonna fill up the cup, which I forgot to do before. My right-hand person isn't here tonight. There we go. Kiddush can be found on page 5.
Baruch Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, asher kishanu mitzvotav, v'ratzavanim. B'Shabbat kodsho, v'yahava u'ratzon hichilanu. Zikaron l'maaseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila, v'mikroi kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta, v'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim. V'shabbat kodecha, v'yahava u'ratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-shabbat. Amen. Chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. All right, take off the live stream.